Next, I'll take you through the steps on how to set up the Programming Technical Unit, or the PTU. Of course, you first need to make sure that it's plugged into a wall. That's what this is. Secondly, you would turn on the unit right here. That will prompt you to this page to configure the Wi-Fi. So we've already established an internet connection. Therefore, we can say set up Chromecast. So we push this. You don't have to worry about this screen. It's just prompting you to the next one. So let's push this white arrow. Sometimes the pen can be quite tricky. You have to use the heat of your finger. Okay, so now we can program the system. Push the next one. So when you are programming a neurostimulator for a patient, you of course are going to push Program Neurostimulator. Top left option. This is where the computer will prompt you step by step on how to configure the battery. So the first step says, place the device over the neurostimulator tester. This is the device, so we'll take it out of its casing. But first, as it says here, you need to remove the cathodes, or else you may end up pulling one off. So let's do that first step. You then are going to slide the battery right here into the tester. See how it slides right there? Okay, that's step one. Secondly, connect the wires to the pins on the tester. So there are 4 wires, as we've outlined before, one of which is separate from the additional 3. This is the ground wire, which needs to be set up on the GND, or the ground pin. So you place that on there and you push it, the cathode, all the way down. Thereafter, there are 3 additional wires. These will go on the patient's ear. These then can go lead 1, lead 2, lead 3. And these cathodes, again, need to be pushed all the way down to the battery. Three. Okay, so steps 1 and 2 are complete. Let's press yes. Next step. Press the batteries in the neurostimulator and remove the stickers carefully. Fit the top cover. Okay, so these are the stickers, but under those stickers are the batteries. So let's remove the stickers. 1, 2, 3. And we have to press the buttons down, or the batteries down, and you'll hear a click potentially. Click, 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 okay? And then it says to put on the plastic cover. So the plastic cover has an open area that aligns with the battery's open area. Push that down. So we've completed those steps. Okay. Next step, number 1, connect the activator probe. So that is this. You can see this red button here, or red marking rather. There's also another one on the probe. So easily done. You connect red to red, push this in. That's step 1. 2, then check the voltage and make sure that it's greater than 3.28 volts. As you can see, the voltage of this battery is 3.56 volts. So we are okay to move forward. There are times where the program wants you to do a test. This is an anomaly, but I'm glad it's happened here. All you would do is push cancel. Okay, no problem. So it says it's connected, all is well, just press OK. And we're back to where we were, so no problem. So here, yes, everything is going great. We're following the directions. Next step, yes, the voltage check has passed. The computer has confirmed that. Yes. So now it's processing. It's ready. Okay. Now that we've checked the battery and the voltage is just where it needs to be, we now need to program the neurostimulator specific to the patient's diagnosis. Now, these are all options, but please consult the provider, confirm the patient's diagnosis, and determine the best protocol for the patient. So in this case, we are going to choose pain in upper and lower extremities as the patient has lower back pain, so we'll push that option. Secondly, we will find the joint inflammation or joint swelling option. Before we move on, I just want to talk about those two options. So those are more vague options because, again, we have 3 different leads that we will attach to the ear. Now, the patient has lower back pain that's mostly caused by inflammation. So those are why we chose those 2 regions. Again, we consulted the provider. We will then get to choose and customize that 3rd lead specific to the patient's lower back pain. So we will get to that, but let's now confirm the programming here. It's always going to be set to default 4. And we will always change the power to 200. So just kind of flick it up all the way to the highest point at 200. We are complete. We can push submit. There we go. Sometimes it's a little... Okay. Next, we need to confirm that all of the leads are being read. So we need to push read. Here you can see the peaks and valleys, which just confirm that all leads are being read correctly for the voltage we've established. So the next step is the ear. So we're going to push ear map. And this is where you decide whether you're going to choose the left or right ear as to where the device will be set. We typically say and ask, or we ask rather, the patient as to what side of the body they sleep on the least. That's obviously the most advantageous to put the neurostimulator on that side so it won't be messed with. So in this case, our patient, we've discussed it with her, and we are going to apply the neurostimulator on the left ear. Okay, so based on the diagnosis and the treatment protocol we have chose, with, of course, the provider's accompaniment, there are 2 locations on this ear. So we get to choose and customize that 3rd location. So based on her back pain, we will customize we will add and customize her specific to her lower back pain. So we will click here as it prompts you to choose that 3rd location due to the gloves and the heat. There we go. So there are 2 options. There's an E option, Europe option, and a C option, China option. United States, we will always choose the E option. So now we look for lower back, E. If there isn't an E beside the option, however, there's just no significant difference between E or C, then you're absolutely fine. So we either need to find lower back E or just lower back. And we are going to pick lumbar spine as the patient has lower back pain. So we will go, it says lumbar spine. It's that yellow marker that goes all the way into about right here. So we push that, you can now see that a blue dot has populated. Now, to make sure that we have specifically hit the nerve to lumbar spine, we need to use these arrows here to make sure that we've gotten to the location that's perfectly outlined by lumbar spine. How you confirm you found that nerve is when the name, or the words rather, populate up here on the top left and say lumbar spine. At this time, we know we have found the appropriate placement within the ear to then affect the lower back of our patient. We push OK. And now we have the 3 nerves that we now need to locate on the patient's ear. Our next step will be to use the nerve finder, establish the ground on the back of the patient's wrist, and then use the nerve locator to then put the markings on the patient's ear prior to attaching the neurostimulator. Next step is to connect the cathodes to the tacks. So first step would be taking the tacks out of the box. We will then obviously take this sticker off, set it to the side. This is important to maintain. There's another sticker behind the battery that will go on the patient chart. This is also something you may want to keep, as this connects a numeric tracking number to the device just in case there's anything wrong with it. So not a bad thing to keep both stickers, but so I'm just going to leave that here to the side. We'll then disconnect this probe, unslide the battery, and disconnect the cathodes. Either step can be interchangeable. It doesn't have to be that way. You could probably disconnect the cathodes first. Again, personal preference. So when attaching to the tacks, we need to be mindful again of how this ground wire is a lone wolf over here. So make sure it starts either totally on the left or totally on the right. I'm going to go on my right here. And we're going to push these all the way down on the tacks. You heard a little click, and it needs to be flush to the adhesive there towards the end, so push it all the way down. And then thereafter connect the rest. You heard another little kind of click. Another click. Okay, and then the last one. Awesome. So now that we've attached the cathodes to the tacks, we are now ready to place the device behind the patient's ear and the cathodes and the tacks on the front of the earlobe.